in the transfers, it seems like Josh Hayes and Anthony Johnson have really gelled well on the field, but then also sort of in the locker room too. I was curious, when you have a new player join the team, particularly someone who's played before and is a transfer, what are you kind of looking for out of them as they sort of make their way onto the team, and what sort of earns that respect and connection in the locker room?
Um, when we look at transfers, we just look at, can you play right away? Like, how good are you? Can you fit on the team? Are you already in the two deep as soon as you get here, and do you try hard? So both of them, they're both really good players, especially Josh coming from a lower level of football. I think he's ready to play in the ACC already. Same with AJ, he started games in the ACC, played against teams like Clemson, similar to us, so he's also ready to play.
What was the decision like for you to come back and have this super senior year? And was it a hard thought process? What are you trying to do to make the most of your final year in Charlottesville?
Really unfinished business. We didn't end the season that we did not end the season last year the way that we wanted to, and really it's just unfinished business, and it's very personal to all of us. So you'll see us out here trying hard and doing extra any way we can win.
I've talked to a couple of the other guys in your unit that, how much do you balance letting last year be last year and this is a new season, and how much do you take lessons from last year into this year to build off of?
What we can learn about last year is just the fact that we need to come together and work towards a common goal. And last year is last year, like you just said, but it also is motivation. And in that, a lot of the super seniors, like, we didn't come back for no reason. And a lot of us are selfless. Like, if the goal was just to go on to the next level, I'm pretty sure most of us would have a chance last year. But it's bigger than that, and it's bigger than us. So it kind of gels us together.
Was that a mostly individual choice for you guys, or was there a lot of talk among teammates like, yeah, we're coming back, right? You're coming back? Like, how was that for
No
you guys?
talk. I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't figure out to the last day that we had to tell coach. So it's no conversation between us. It's just individual.
Kind of along those lines, but you've been in this program. This is your 6th year in this program now. Just this summer, between conditioning and camp and drills, and just what's it like going through that grind for a 6th year?
I would say this up until this point, it's been very special, just because as a younger guy, you don't really see what the coaches are saying, and you don't really take in consideration all the time, all the hard things that we do. But it just makes me appreciate the things that I've been through and what can come of this season. If we truly lock in and come together, we can have anything that we want to have this season, the success, everything. So it's just a matter of just listening to the coaches and trusting ourselves in our training.
What steps has this secondary taken to move forward from last season?
Really just dialing in and just putting in the work that needs to be done. There's no excuses for whatever the case may be, however we were viewed last year, there's no excuses. And, the only thing we can do, whether we were great last year or terrible last year, the only thing we can do this year is get better than we were. So it's just a matter of locking in on our responsibilities and truly being accountable to our jobs and putting the best 5 people on the field.
And it was asking you about the transfers coming in this year, and everybody, like, the coaches are pretty transparent that they won't bring a transfer in unless that guy might step right in and push to start right away and get on the field. As a veteran guy who sees these guys being brought in at your spot, how much does that motivate you to work a little bit harder?
At the end of the day, I'm my own player, and everybody else on the field is their own player. So if you get caught up too much in bringing a new person in to heart, you won't get better. So at the end of the day, they're just another player on the team, whether they were here before or not. They're gonna push you. So they just so happen to be talented players, so that gives you even more of an incentive to be better.
Have you seen kind of that tide rising all boats and everybody kind of improving because of that competition and challenging each other?
Oh, for sure. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to get on the field, even the people who are already here, let alone the starters. So we have younger guys, wanting to play and catch up, and there's someone who's inserted who's already got experience over them. So that's pushing them even harder to learn their playbooks so they aren't forgotten. And this year that transfers are here, you know.
I know there are a few new faces here, but obviously you guys have a lot of veterans returning on the secondary. How have you seen the communication really improve with an off season underneath your belt as well, plus spring ball and all that stuff? Have you seen that communication improve?
Yeah, so I would just say the overall communication has improved mostly because we're spending a lot more time together. You know, obviously COVID, but that's no excuse, but we just didn't spend the time. We just didn't put the time in last year. Like, just time together, time spent watching the same thing, time being on the same page. So that's been the most exponential growth that we've seen this offseason.
There's been a lot of talk about, just how much this defense could change, from last season. What does it kind of look like as y'all are, just about a week away from the season getting underway?
Our mindset's completely different. Our effort to the ball is completely different, and the urgency is completely different. We have different goals this season, and we actually truly believe and buy into them. So that's the major difference between this year and last year.
I think Coach Mendenhall said at the end of last week that Joey really helps communication-wise back there just because he's seen so much. What does he do that makes other people comfortable?
I would say it's not just on him, it's everybody, really. I mean, his veteran leadership, his presence itself, he's always in the right spot, whether it's pre-snap, moving before the ball, like stuff like that. It all works together, and we all are loud back there, and we're all loud. Like, Nick Jackson's loud, Noah's loud, like all the linebackers are loud. So it's just a matter of all working together. We try to take the stress off of him so he's not the only person back there talking. So we all work together pretty good.
Who do you think has really found their voice this offseason back there?
I mean, I feel like as a whole, we all have a voice. So it's just a matter of not just allowing one person to do all the work. That's the primary emphasis. Is if one person's doing it, not everybody knows it, So if it could be said by all the people and we're all on the same page, that's how it would be the best. Secondary, defense, and, team.
I saw that Chase Chalmers was in that first group of guys that got their jersey. Just have you seen anything from him back in the secondary? Why was he in that first group, you think?
Yeah, so first and foremost, Chase is in blue, and that alone is tremendous. And Chase is a guy who will go into any spot and go as hard as he can, and that's harder than a lot of people you'll find out there in college football. And he also starts on 4 special teams. So that just means that everybody on our staff and the players, we all want him on the field some way, somehow. So he's a really special player, and that's why he's picked in the first round.
We've got time for one more question.
Nick, I was curious with the jersey selection process, what you tell young guys who are sort of new to that, how to embrace that experience. I'm sure there are guys who are working hard who maybe hope they were in the first group and weren't in it. I guess, what do you tell some of the underclassmen about that process?
Man, it's a process. Like, you can look at me as an example. You could take a lot of other people as an example. I didn't pick a number until my second year. And, I picked it week 10 my first year, but I didn't get a number my first year. And I was a young guy. I've always wanted one my entire life. And you're going to be able to pick contingent on how hard you work. So don't get discouraged. Your time's going to come. Just keep your head down, keep working. We see you. So that's the only thing I can tell them.